Finally.
I'm Blaze.
I'm Peggy.
I'm just choking.
I'm Joe.
Damn it, let me redo that. What's up, Doc?
I'm Peggy.
I'm Joe. Remember, kids, Slenderman's watching, and it only gets worse from here.
The fucking Slenderman. Oh my god.
Oh god. It's such bullshit.
Did you just look that up the other night?
No.
Oh, you heard about it before?
Yeah, I heard everyone talk about it. I'm like, who gives a shit? It's not even scary at all.
I've only heard one person talk about it, and then I was like, well,
I looked up everything to know about him already.
I'm not surprised.
It's not that bad.
I'm the expert in this room right now on Slenderman.
Yeah,
Spell said.
Spell Slenderman.
I don't need to know everything.
I know.
Yeah, you do.
But Jeremy was telling me you were like fucking scared as shit the other night.
He was. He was like, come
You were scared to shit too when I was trying to get you in the road with the knife.
Hey, why don't you try walking through the park at 10:30 after watching all that shit? Right?
Oh, that's so scary.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't you shut your mouth?
I wouldn't be the stupid person. I'd rather take the long way.
We did take the long way.
You go around the park?
We went around, yeah.
Oh my god.
And there were still like cars and still cars. So, have you seen the pictures online that they have of this guy?
Yeah.
It's not really that scary.
Do you think they're legit or they're probably
So what he does, I guess, is kind of, but we're safe. Well, you don't. If you're over like fucking 13, you're safe.
Not the old like artist.
First of all, it's German folklore. What the
No,
fuck
it's
would he
Dutch folklore. Thank you very much. And then it went into
It's still European. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
European folklore.
But not that stuff. I'm talking about the pictures from like the 60s, like the black and white pictures, like the one where the kids are on the playground and behind the tree there's like the 8-foot tall slender man.
For the record, weren't there trees? Look, this is gonna sound stupid, but weren't there fucking trees in the photo?
There was one tree.
There was one tree,
and then he was behind it.
It was the tree.
Well, my only argument against that is the fact that a tree doesn't have two trunks.
Yeah, that's true. Well, no, there's some trees that grow in that way.
Yeah, they do.
If there's something in the way.
All right. Well, honestly, in all of it, I don't know why so many like adults get scared of this, because the original version of it that originated in fucking Dutch. I don't know what to call it, Dutchnese or some shit.
Dutchnese.
It was a folklore that became that it was about some guy that went around stealing children and killed them. Now they turned it into this guy named Slenderman because the guy that would do it was always seen in a suit. But this far back, who the fuck even as he said at the stake, and said, if you sign your soul over to me, you will live forever. Well, apparently
that was a good idea.
Apparently he said he cursed the town at burning at the stake and said, I made a deal with the devil. So
that's great.
For some reason that they still can't explain, since they don't have records going back that far, every time before the children's 13th birthday, they ended up going missing, and then suddenly reappearing in their beds, beheaded. So nobody could figure out how, because they were just saying that a report was made during, what was it, 1733, that a guy or a man, what, God, his child was about to turn 13 at midnight, so he stayed up the entire night with a gun pointed towards his kid.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea, but
dude, if you're that much of a parent and you think that
that much of a parent, yeah, I know what you mean.
So he stared at his kid the entire night, and 12 o'clock rolled around. He thought if he could protect his kid until after like 10 something or some shit, that his kid would be fine. So, to what the reports count is, there was a knock at the door. He shot the door. He went to go look at it, and it was his wife. He shot his wife, dead blank. And when he came back to grab his kid, the kid was beheaded, laying in the bed.
Fucking hey, man.
So they deemed him insane, and they later hung him. But he was screaming. He was screaming the entire time he was in custody, that there was a guy across the room with a suit on staring at him, or a fancy get-up, or whatever the hell they called it back then, was staring at him across the room with a bag over his, like a rough bag over his face. And people were in the room. They would walk into where this guy was standing, and they couldn't figure out who the fuck he was. So a couple days before the hanging, the guy basically went comatose. He went into a coma of some sort. They couldn't figure it out. So they, instead of hanging him, they kept him like that. Now apparently this guy was in this coma for about 3 years, and when he finally came out of it, he'd gone blind somehow. Like, he had white eyes. And they said even though he was out of the coma, they said he all he did was spread the word of this guy and how people needed to get out of this town. And eventually, apparently, the town became, after like a couple of years, the town became barren because of a food source. But then reports started rolling in from Germany during the what was it, the 1800s, about children going missing, like massive amounts of children going missing each night. They couldn't figure out, which is not good. So a lot of people say like that what's that guy's name? What's that slasher's name? The real dude that was in England or something? Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper was the Slenderman. Now, the original, I can't remember what the original name for it, because they didn't call him the Slender Man up until 19 something. Oh, what was it? But apparently, to what they were saying, a couple photographs got taken during the 90s of children that play, because eventually, after like the 1800s, mass pop, there's not really too many fucking forests left. Now, they were saying about just shit going, all these kids going missing in London. They couldn't, not London, Germany, and they couldn't figure it out. Well, when the First World War rolled around, some of the kids that enlisted, like, for some reason, they started getting reports on the battlefield of a guy walking around bulletproof in a suit. They couldn't figure out who it was. Intelligence were coming in. People can look this up. They got real military records of a man wearing a suit would walk up, go into a trench next to a person, and for some reason the victim and only like certain older gentlemen around him could see this man, but like a lot of younger people couldn't for some reason. But all they said was that he would reach into the person's chest, and suddenly the victim would just fall down dead. And
it seems to me he's just like another folklore of the Grim Reaper.
Honestly, that's what I was kind of thinking, but again, why would the Grim Reaper need to decapitate children?
Maybe he got fired and he's pissed off.
Maybe.
But, so, what happened is the 1990s rolled around, and way more reports of children going missing, couldn't explain, rolled around. So, to what the last big report that ever happened on this was 1976, and what happened was an orphanage. What? Oh, the dial's not twisted all the way it does that.
I know, but it's kind of freaky that we're talking about this and this shit's happening.
Believe me, I was watching fucking the History Channel. They did all the aliens. That thing started flickering, and what they said that technology starts to go dim when aliens are around. Freaked me the fuck out.
But yeah.
Anyway, besides your almost whole video long rant, we gotta get other things.
Okay, fine. I'll let you hear. The last known report was that an orphanage was an inspector came to the orphanage and found a lady in the fetal position, and all around her were decapitated children. There was 35 children in that orphanage.
Yep, seems legit.
The only thing they couldn't figure out, there was no signs of a struggle, there was no signs of binding, none of that. The lady kept repeating over and over and over again, Slenderman. And she was trialed and sentenced to death by injection. What I don't get is how could you kill 35 children in the same room without anybody hearing screams? And this was supposedly in the city, in a populated area. Hearing all this screaming, how the fuck did one child get away out of 35?
Poison them all, and then again, they would have probably done autopsies.
But so all they're saying was there was no struggles, and they honestly said it was they thought it was a cult following, like somebody poisoned them. But I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened. But all they said was up until the date that she got an injection, all that shit. That's all she spoke. Slenderman, the Slenderman. I didn't do it. The Slenderman.
Okay, I get it.
Now people were trying to think that she was trying to pronounce something else.
It keeps going.
Shut up! We have 2 minutes left, and it's all you. We gotta do this again.
Well, we'll just do a 20-minute episode.
No, because the last time we did that, we couldn't upload it, so no.
Okay.
We're gonna stop this one, start over, and you're not gonna talk the whole time.
How about you just save this one and use Slenderman facts?
What? Fuck yourself!
Don't be a dick.
I'm being a dick. I just want to get my words in.
Just upload this one because people want to hear about this. Come on,
No, they don't.
They want to hear facts. They want to hear the real facts. They don't want to ran around.
Well, we did mention that we were supposed to do this every week, so let's make multiple episodes in like one night, obviously.
Yeah, let's make multiple episodes.
So this one's dedicated to facts of Slenderman.
Yeah, that's fucking great.
Awesome.
Well, with the last 59 seconds, I was talking, you shut up.
Well, pretty much, fuck, what was I gonna say? I fucking hate you. Thanks. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. With all abductions, you know what it makes me think it is?
Child molesters.
Well, I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
We filled our aliens quota. One per episode.
One per episode at least, but... this is probably going to bring up something we could do some other time, but this whole thing kind of reminds me of the Blair Witch Project.
Oh,
they would take she would take kids, quote unquote. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
I didn't get to see it.
It freaked me out a bit. I won't lie.
It's so fucking stupid. That's what started the whole fucking quarter horror movie.
Yeah,
it was so stupid.
I heard about that. That was the one that started all the shit. But what I don't get is, okay, first of all, who the fuck wants to see a guy running around in the woods screaming witch for fucking 30 minutes?
Everybody?
Nobody. Alright, so I guess we gotta wrap this shit up. Please comment and subscribe.
Yeah.
And we're gonna
hopefully not get killed by the Slenderman for revealing his secrets.
And we'll put more up later on.
Yeah.